Hello, it's Paul from Awesome Fitness, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Wellness Wednesday. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about something that's close to my heart, and that's that feeling of not being good enough. This is something that really affected me when I was going through my overtraining syndrome and when I was going through my depression and low mood. So today we're going to talk about 7 things to remember if you're getting those kind of thoughts. It can affect our well-being, it can affect our training. So it's something that we can do something about, and it's something that we really should pay attention to when those kind of thoughts pop into your head. So I want to share with you some of the thoughts that came into my head when I felt these things and how I then overcame them. It was almost a daily thing that my head was telling me that I wasn't good enough. Whether it be in my personal life or my professional life, was I good enough to be a PT? Was I good enough to be a boyfriend? Was I good enough to be a dad? Was I good enough to be alive? And to have those kind of thoughts constantly racing through your head can be really tough and really wearing on yourself. One of the things that we constantly do to ourselves is we are dealt the pressures of modern culture, this idea that we have to be the best at something and that we have to outperform anyone else that is around us, and that's simply not true. They're just thoughts. These are things that are popping up into your head in the form of anxiety or in the form of an idea that your brain is trying to sort out. So we can manage these things a lot better, and these are some of the things that I put into practice when I felt these things popping up. So here's 7 little tips that I hope you're going to find helpful and useful, and they certainly helped me out when I needed them. So the first one is when you're comparing yourself to others, it's very easy to be very self-critical of yourself and then look at somebody else and be like, well, I want that, and they do that better than me, and you can get consumed. We are human, and being human means that we are all the same. We all have different experiences, but we are the same. When you love somebody, someone's close, a friend or a family member, when they're feeling these feelings, we can feel compassion towards them. But without that love towards somebody, we end up getting stuck in this world of just almost hating ourselves because we want that one thing from that other person so much. Second thing is that thoughts are thoughts. You're only thinking them, your brain is only coming up with those ideas because it's trying to fix something. You can control how you think about those thoughts. I'm going to do a special Wellness Wednesday based on meditation and the benefits of that. And one of those things that I used to do was if I started to think about something, I would literally say the words thinking to myself. And that automatically would stop me from thinking about that one thing. And it doesn't come easy, and it's something you've got to practice. But remember that those thoughts are only thoughts. That doesn't make them real. There's a saying, don't believe everything you think. And just let that sink in. Don't believe everything you think. Number 3 is there's actually more good about you than there is bad. But you're choosing which ones you're listening to. You get to choose which ones become reality. If you actually to write a really honest pros and cons list of you and yourself, what would be on that list? Now, it might be easier. I don't know if anyone's tried writing a CV recently, but you've got to sell yourself and you've got to put a load of pros on there. And the first things that can pop into your head sometimes are all the cons. I like, well, yeah, I'm a little bit lazy and I actually like to stay in bed for an extra half an hour. Forget those things. Focus on the good things. There are lots of really, really good qualities about you. You just have to start exploring what those things might be. Talk to a friend about those things. Ask them what they like about you. What are your good qualities? And start to focus on those rather than consuming yourself with, oh, well, I'm rubbish at this and I can't do that. And start to imagine your life in a bit more of that CV. You're selling yourself to the rest of the world. Number 4 is you need to love most when you feel you deserve it least. This is a big one. This is a really big one. So automatically you will put your barriers up. If you're feeling angry, if you're feeling shame, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling depression, you're going to put that barrier up to anyone that's going to try and come in and love you and make you feel better about what it is. When actually that's the moment you need that love. That's the time where you should be saying, yeah, come on in. I need that positivity in my life right now. And it's funny because, when we feel good, we sort of hear the love and we're like, oh yeah, thank you, that's great. But actually we close off the rest of the world when we start to feel like that. So remember that you can change your belief on this, and that actually when you are feeling low, let that love in. Let the people around you help you to feel better, because that's when you're going to need it the most. That's when you're going to feel better. You don't need that love when you're feeling as good, as much as that feels good at the time. Save it for when you really need it. Number 5, be accepting of now. You cannot reach your end goal unless you accept where you are right here, right now. So wherever you are on the ladder, you've got to accept that that is going on in your head. So if you're in a bad place, accept it. Accept that that's happening. You can relate it to a fitness goal as well. You feel awful about how you look, how you feel, your strength, let it be that it's okay to be at that level. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody else and say, well, hang on a minute, why are they like that? That's a different journey. You're on your journey. Once you have accepted where you are in your life right now, you can move forwards. And that can allow you to complete the journey knowing where you've come from. Number 6 is focus on your progress, but not the perfection of that progress. When I was coming back to the gym after my overtraining syndrome, one of the hardest thoughts that I had in my head was how far away I was from that energetic, giant personality that I was before my depression kicked in. And I would say that I was very hard on myself to start training again to get myself up to that high level of fitness. I wanted to be the fittest person in any room that I walked into. And to not be that person was a big thing for me. So one day I was training and I was working pretty hard, and one of my PT friends came up to me and asked me how I was getting on. And they hit me with something that I teach my clients all the time, and that was, look at how far you've come. Don't look at where you were, or don't look at where you want to be. Look at where you are now. Look at how far you've pushed yourself. Look at what you've been through to get yourself there. And that was a big thing for me because I was in the middle of a workout. I was feeling pretty rubbish about myself. I hadn't made the workout very easy for myself, and I was in the middle of a rest set right at the end. And just hearing this was enough motivation for me to be like, yeah, you're right. Actually, do you know what? It doesn't matter where I was before or where I want to be. Actually, it's about who I am now. So actually, if I trust the process, then I can be something completely better than where I was. But actually, I've done really good. I've got myself out of something that felt so horrible. So this was a really big one, and thank you to the PT that stood there and said, look at what you've achieved already. Number 7 is you can't hate yourself to make yourself love yourself. You can beat yourself up as much as you want. You know, there is an element of saying, well, I'm never going to be successful. That's not going to make you successful. Yeah. I'm never going to look good in the gym. Well, that's not going to make you look good in the gym. You can beat yourself up as much as you want, but it's not going to solve your issues. Yeah. There's a saying that someone important that's once said to me, and that is that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Now, that to me is that if I want to love my family and my friends and the people around me and be able to give them the most and put value back into the world, I've got to love myself first. And if I don't look after number one, then how can I look after everybody else? Now, sometimes I think that's something that we do really forget, and something that we need to focus on. We need to use and utilize our time to be able to reconnect with why we're important on this planet and why we can make a difference to other people around us, but only if we've looked after ourselves. So that's the insight to loving yourself. A little bit deep today, but that's okay. Let some of those things sink in. Try and implement some of those things. Don't be so hard on yourself. You know, life is tough. Don't make it tougher than it needs to be. And I will look forward to hearing from you guys. Don't forget that I'm always here to hand out any help that you might need. So please, if you want to private message me, or you just want to sort of like and comment on this post, I love to hear your ideas and support about how you create love for yourself. And let's make this world a better place. Let's start loving each other again properly. So start remembering all the awesome things that you can actually do in life, and have an awesome week, guys. See you next time for Wellness Wednesday.